China and Central Asian countries vow for closer ties and summit in Xi'an. Ukraine on the agenda for G7 summit in Hiroshima. Government adds an extra $5 billion to fund national security. Hello and welcome to TVB News. Two international summits are being held simultaneously in Asia today. The G7 summit is getting underway in Hiroshima, Japan, while the China Central Asia summit is taking place in Xi'an in China. During the summit in Xi'an, President Xi Jinping outlined the importance of Central Asia and how China plans to strengthen relations with the region. Sharon Tang has the story.
Playing host to the China Central Asia Summit, President Xi Jinping welcomed leaders of Kyrgyzstan, Tajikistan, Uzbekistan, Turkmenistan and Kazakhstan at the Xi'an International Convention Center this morning. Delivering his keynote speech, Xi said the world needs a stable, prosperous, harmonious and interconnected Central Asia.
有条件，有能力
Xi said Central Asia is blessed with unique geographical advantages and the right foundation to become an important hub of Eurasia. It can make unique contributions to the trading of goods, the interplay of civilizations and technology development in the world. Xi proposed 4 principles on how to build a China Central Asia community with a shared future.
我们要共同践行全球安全倡议。
We must act on the global security initiative and stand firm against external attempts to interfere with domestic affairs or instigate color revolutions, Xi said. He added there's zero tolerance against the 3 forces of terrorism, separatism and extremism, and we must work together to build a peaceful community. Xi proposed establishing an energy development partnership, expediting the construction of the China Central Asia gas pipeline and expanding trade in oil and gas. He said China will seek to modernize existing border ports at a faster pace, encourage Chinese enterprises to build overseas warehouses in Central Asian countries, and move forward with consultations on the China-Kyrgyzstan-Uzbekistan railway. China will also provide 26 billion yuan in financing and aid for Central Asian countries to step up law enforcement, security, and defense capability. Following the meeting, the leaders met the press together and signed the Xi'an Declaration of the China Central Asia Summit. The 6 countries agreed to hold the summit every 2 years, with each taking turns to host the event. The next China Central Asia Summit is set to be held in Kazakhstan in 2025. Then, the 6 leaders planted 6 pomegranate trees as a symbol of great unity, cooperation, and a bright future of China Central Asian relations. Sharon Tang, TVB News.
Meanwhile, the Group of 7 Major Industrialized Nations Summit is officially underway in Hiroshima, Japan. Among the issues at the top of the G7 summit agenda will be the ongoing war in Ukraine and ways to reduce supply chain dependency on China. Further sanctions are expected to be announced on Russia, and reports suggest Ukrainian leader Volodymyr Zelensky will attend the summit in person. Matthew Bray reports.
Hiroshima is Japanese Prime Minister Fumio Kishida's hometown and underscores his determination to make nuclear disarmament and non-proliferation a key part of the G7 agenda. Kishida welcomed the leaders to the Hiroshima Peace Memorial Park, where wreaths were laid commemorating the 1945 atomic bombing, paying respects to the victims. At their first meeting, the Japanese leader's opening remarks were that he would like to strengthen the role of the G7 in seeking a harmonious international community. On the initial agenda, the global economy, the war in Ukraine and nuclear disarmament, the leaders are expected to discuss further sanctions on Russia and the situation in Ukraine. A US component of any new sanctions would blacklist about 70 Russian and third country entities involved in Russia's defense production and sanction more than 300 individuals, entities, aircraft and vessels, the Associated Press reported. The European Union was planning to try and restrict trade in Russian diamonds. There will be a working dinner tonight to discuss diplomatic and security issues, including stability in the Indo-Pacific amid China's increasing influence in the region. Chinese officials had warned the countries should not make the summit an anti-China political show. There was a protest in the streets of Hiroshima, the anger mainly directed at the attendance of leaders of nuclear-armed powers in a city that was devastated by an atomic bomb that killed 140,000 people. Several other countries, including Australia, India and Brazil, have also been invited to the summit in an effort to shore up ties with non-G7 nations. Matthew Bray, TVB News.
Back locally, the government will allocate an additional $5 billion this year to a special fund for the purpose of national security. It's the second time authorities announced such an expenditure. Mimo Sangai reports.
The government announced a $5 million special fund will be allocated for expenses related to maintaining national security. According to accounts published in the latest government gazette, the sum is a non-recurring expenditure. Since the implementation of the National Security Law in 2020, authorities have now announced such allocations twice. The first time was in December 2020, involving $8 billion. This time, the authorities did not reveal how long the $5 billion will be used for, saying the work of the Committee for Safeguarding National Security should not be interfered with by any institutions or individuals. Commenting on whether the public should know details of National Security Fund applications and its length of usage, New People's Party lawmaker Dominic Lee believes secrecy is important.
If you take a look at different jurisdictions or regions around the world, they take national security as one of the top priority in the region. And therefore, sometimes they place it in the same category as military, where they would place privacy and the secrecy of those expenses on top of the openness of those expenditure. I think in Hong Kong, the situation should be the same. The national security is of such importance. This expenditure of $5 billion and $8 billion, I think, is justified considering how important it is. And now, maybe after a certain period of time, then we can start looking into how those expenses are being made.
But social welfare sector lawmaker Dick Ji-yun said transparency can promote the development of national security in the city. Mimo Sanai, TVB News.
Police said they have not received any applications requesting to hold events on Hong Kong Island on June 4th. Meanwhile, a hometown market carnival will be held in Victoria Park, organized by a group of associations from June 3rd to 5th. The organizers said they hope the event can provide the public with a place to entertain and enjoy themselves. That's in addition to demonstrating how Hong Kong has entered a stage of governance and development. The Leisure and Cultural Services Department had already approved the organizers' request to rent 4 football pitches and the central lawn of Victoria Park between May 30th and June 7th. To reduce the chances of traffic accidents, the government plans to make it mandatory for drivers of commercial vehicles aged 65 or above who wish to renew their license to undergo body checks once a year. The current age requirement is 70. The matter was discussed during a LegCo panel this morning. Lawmakers say many drivers are worried the body checks will be expensive and hope the government can offer subsidies. Others suggest standardizing the price of these health checks. Still, Director of Transport Rosanna Law said public money needs to be handled carefully and that it's basically a resident's duty to take care of their health. Authorities say they're currently consulting the sector, adding the plan might go ahead as soon as the third quarter next year. The Red Cross Blood Transfusion Service is warning that its blood inventories are almost depleted with only 4 days' worth of stock remaining. The service is appealing to residents to donate blood as soon as possible and reminds donors to make an appointment prior to visiting the blood donation center. Timothy Lee tells us more.
Blood donation is essential for emergency operations and treating patients suffering from diseases such as thalassemia and blood cancer. But Hong Kong is facing a blood shortage crisis. The Hong Kong Red Cross Blood Transfusion Service, or BTS, owns the largest blood inventory in the SAR. However, a BTS spokesperson noted that several of the organization's blood bank refrigerators have ceased operations due to the lack of whole blood, which is blood from a standard donation, adding that the daily blood collection situation is unstable.
As the blood collection continues to drop because of the unstable weather recently, and together with the increasing demand from the hospital, the daily blood collection remains unstable, has been unable to meet the daily target of 615 units of collection. We especially call for Type O, Type A, and Type B donors to come forward and donate blood to replenish the blood inventory as soon as possible.
Leung said that the recent flu season and the rising number of COVID-19 cases have dampened the city's mood in giving blood donations in recent times. She urged young people to step up in donation efforts, citing that among Hong Kong donors of all age groups, those aged 30 to 50 make up around 50%, while residents aged 16 to 30 account for only 20%. Leung said people recently recovered from COVID wishing to be a donor can only do so 14 days after recovery. She added that those who would like to donate blood can make prior appointments via the BTS website or phone. The Hong Kong Red Cross Blood Transfusion Service reminds residents that one blood donation saves 3 lives. That's because each whole blood will be separated into 3 different blood products: red cells, plasma, and platelets, with each capable of saving different patients. Timothy Lee, TVB News.
Coming up, police warn against phishing scams on phone. Prince Harry's 5th wedding anniversary. Welcome back. Be careful if you receive suspicious messages on your phone. Police have recorded 1,400 cases of phishing scams in the first quarter this year involving fraudulent telecom companies and shopping sites. Sakura Ip has more.
Have you ever received a message saying your shopping points are about to expire, urging you to redeem gifts via the provided hyperlink? Ms. Chen received a similar message from scammers pretending to be a well-known local telecom platform in February this year. She entered her information, including her credit card and address, to a fake website. Her card was used to make purchases worth 24,000 Hong Kong dollars on a South Korean shopping website the day after. She revealed her experience via a Zoom interview in a police press conference. She said she was traumatized to use her credit card again, even after the bank had issued her a new one after the scam. In view of the growing trend of phishing scams, police have set up a new category under its Cyber Security and Technology Crime Bureau. 1,408 cases were recorded in the first quarter this year, making up 1/5 of the total number of technology crimes. These scams involved local brands such as YUU, SmartTone, OpenRise, as well as public services like HKE Toll and global streaming platforms like Netflix. Victims lost a total of 26 million Hong Kong dollars, with the largest case involving 700,000 Hong Kong dollars. Victims were between 18 to 78 years old. Police suggest that citizens should pay attention to details of potentially fake websites, as there are usually some spelling mistakes and unusual domain names, such as .top or .vip, instead of .com or .com.hk. Police have also worked with telecom companies and the Communication Authority to tackle suspicious hyperlinks.
Up till now, around 30,000 URL has been blocked or stopped access by the public. These URLs sourced from the police report and also telecom companies' intelligence and also our cyber patrol.
Apart from blocking suspicious URLs, police are working with HKMA to alert citizens before they make transactions to bank accounts that might be related to scams in the future. Sakura Ip, TVB News.
A Hong Kong man was suspected of impersonating a Dubai prince to scam a mainland resident in Macau. He's been arrested by local authorities. Macau police received a report last December of a man with a Middle Eastern complexion claiming to be Dubai royalty, offering to sell concert tickets at a discounted price to a male mainland tourist. The alleged prince was also suspected of persuading the mainland individual to be his partner in an investment company, adding that he was well connected. The mainland individual then transferred more than $320,000 to the supposed Dubai prince before he lost contact. The enclave's authorities said they arrested the alleged fraudster in a casino in Macau. The man is 33 years old and is currently being detained by local authorities. Overseas, 5 TikTok content creators have filed a lawsuit seeking to overturn Montana's decision to ban the video sharing app. The Montana residents claim the law is an unconstitutional violation of free speech rights. They're also trying to argue that the state does not have any say over national security matters. Republican Governor Greg Gianforte signed the bill into law on Wednesday, saying it would protect private data from being harvested by the Chinese government. TikTok has denied its data is being passed to Beijing. Montana's Department of Justice said it would defend the law. Britain's Prince Harry and his wife Meghan celebrate their 5th wedding anniversary today. This as the drama further unfolds over the couple's claim of a 2-hour car chase by the paparazzi through the streets of New York Tuesday. Tracy Furness has more.
The New York Police Department played down the events of Tuesday night when Prince Harry, his wife Meghan, and her mother were pursued through the streets of Manhattan by paparazzi after a charity event. The Sussex's spokesperson said on Twitter that they were chased for 2 hours, putting lives at risk. Another Twitter post read, "Traffic violations by the drivers include driving on the sidewalk, going through red lights, reversing down a one-way street." Police say there were no reported collisions, summonses, injuries or arrests. They also dispute that it was a 2-hour car chase. The incident has polarized the public. To supporters of Prince Harry and his wife Meghan, being chased by photographers brought back memories of the death of his mother, Princess Diana. For some, it was another show of the couple's publicity-seeking and self-aggrandizing behavior. Whatever people say, the incident seemed to have traumatized the couple.
There was clearly an event that is being now trying to be kind of managed and calmed down by the authorities in New York. It is also possible that for Harry and Meghan, that this is an event which is, even if it wasn't as long and as dangerous as other people have perceived, for them it was.
Meanwhile, the Duke and Duchess of Sussex celebrate their 5th wedding anniversary Friday. Harry's father, the then Prince of Wales, now King, announced their engagement in November 2017. The couple married in St George's Chapel, Windsor on May 19, 2018. The late Queen Elizabeth granted them the titles of Duke and Duchess of Sussex as a wedding gift. They undertook royal engagements in Britain and abroad before stepping down from royal life. They moved to California, where they now live with their 2 children. But the couple remain controversial with their interviews and documentaries where they have put down the monarchy and criticized the media. Harry's book Spared, that was released earlier this year, was also scathing of his family. The book went on to become a bestseller. Tracy Furness, TVB News.
That's the weekend. Thanks for watching. That's the news. Thanks for watching. Have a good weekend.